2025 is iconic because it's the next generation coming around. With these generations spanning 15 years, Generation Alpha runs from 2010 through to 2024. So 2025 introduces Generation Beta.
That's right. Even as we're still arguing about millennials versus Gen Z and how Gen Z is at the workplace and other such things, the world has actually skipped 2 generations ahead. Babies born from 1st January 2025 are now Generation Beta. And these are the children born between 2025 and 2040. That means that they will be the children of young millennials and older Gen Zs. So Gen Z, who we have been considering kids so far, they're actually having kids now. In fact, increasing lifespans means that this is the first time that there are 7 generations are alive and interacting in society at the same time. So there's the builders, boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, which is the millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and now Gen Beta. In the next 10 years, Generation Beta will make up 16% of the global population, making them a significant demographic that'll influence future economies, cultures, and societies. One notable thing is that they will have a lifespan much longer than previous generations due to advances in healthcare and technology. In fact, many of them will even live to see the next century. Here's why Generation Beta is going to experience a world like no other. As per social researcher Mark McCrindle, who coined the term Generation Alpha, Generation Beta will face a future defined by 3 things: rapid advancements in AI, sustainability, and most importantly, population changes. They are inheriting a world grappling with big societal changes, climate change, population shifts, rapid urbanization, and a tech-saturated world which is only going to keep growing. For these children, the digital and physical worlds will be seamless. While AI and smart tech is Rose in the age of Gen Alpha, Generation Beta will live in an era where AI and automation are fully embedded in their lives. From smart tech at home to using AI right from a young age at school, to their healthcare and entertainment options too. They will likely to be the first generation to experience autonomous transportation at scale. They'll have immersive virtual environments in the standard daily life, and their formative years will be extremely personalized. AI algos will tailor their leaning, shopping, and social interactions. They're going to be born into a hyper-connected, high-tech world and will have access to innovations that today's generations are only imagining. Smart cities, autonomous vehicles, next-gen virtual realities. Also, since this generation will be raised by millennial and older Gen Z parents, they're likely to be more globally minded, community-focused, and collaborative, despite the personalized options. That's because many of their parents are those who prioritize adaptability, equality, and eco-consciousness. Sustainability is going to be not a choice, but a necessity for them. According to Pew Research Center, 71% of millennials and 67% of Gen Zers believe that climate change should be the top priority to ensure a sustainable planet for the future. At the end, it's likely to be Gen Beta who will be tasked with finding solutions to ecological challenges of the 21st century. As per McCrindle, Gen Beta will prioritize curating their own digital identity with safety and wisdom. Driven by their super-conscious parents, this will help them foster a strong sense of individuality, both in online and offline environments. He predicts that Gen Beta will embody the balance between hyperconnectivity and personal expression, and redefine what it means to belong, blending in-person relationships with global digital communities. All in all, it's exciting times ahead, and this marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. Many argue that naming the generations is just labels, but it does go beyond that in both good and bad ways. Categorizing generations comes more from a domain of social science than pop culture. On the plus side, it allows for an objective analysis and individual identity creation. It often represents the differing social and economic experiences that have shaped and are shaping lives and careers. It may not be the same for everyone, but it does signal some trends. As per McCrindle, a standardized 15-year time span will enable future analysts to conduct more comprehensive analysis and global comparisons, and understanding their needs, environment, values, and preferences will help us anticipate how they will shape the future of society.
The changes that we're seeing, the speed of the generations, and the fact that they give us a lens to the future and an eye on the decades ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And also 2025 is that sort of prime number year, or it's easy. It's a multiple of 5. And because the generations span 15 years, it's an easy one to remember. There's quite a few kind of big ages as well, or iconic ages for the generations, in terms of the builders being 80 plus, the baby boomers being fully, anyone in their 60s and 70s is a baby boomer. Next year, even for Generation X, they're in their late 40s and 50s, and the oldest will turn 60. For Gen Ys, they're in their 30s and early 40s. For Generation Z, the oldest of them turn 30 in 2025, but the youngest are 16. So I think in some ways they're they're the emerging generation. You're that's true, but the oldest of them are going to start having kids probably in the next couple of years. And then, like you said, Gen Alpha sort of 15 and under, and many of them will start entering the workforce in sort of part-time roles in local McDonald's or whatever. And then we've got a whole new generation in Gen Beta as well. So yeah, a big year 2025 for the generations. And so, yeah, we believe absolutely, I think, in understanding people and the generations is one great way to do that. And I know in our Trends of 2025 event, we put this quote in, we said, whatever generation you lead, serve, market to, or engage with, understanding them and how they are evolving is imperative to future success. So making sure that people are aware of who the generations are and what generation they lead or look after particularly, and what are the hallmarks of them and the characteristics is going to be really important.
It also helps businesses tailor-make their products based on ages and preferences. However, others argue that cut-off points for generations are arbitrary and can be associated with stereotypes, making them too simplistic to really offer an explanation about complex interpersonal and social circumstances. Either ways, these labels are commonly used now, and they do serve a purpose in establishing a benchmark which scholars, policy professionals, and companies can rely on.